In the constellation Orion, an ancient giant's final act is imminent. Betelgeuse, a star whose fiery heart once blazed with immense energy, is poised on the brink of a cataclysmic explosion. Scientists and stargazers alike are on edge, waiting for the breathtaking spectacle of a supernova. What secrets will Betelgeuse's dramatic finale reveal, and how will its demise reshape our night sky? Imagine looking up at Orion one clear night and witnessing a dazzling light show as Betelgeuse, the mighty red supergiant, erupts in a brilliant supernova. This once-in-a-lifetime celestial event could happen at any moment, captivating the world with its brilliance and scientific significance. Betelgeuse was already a very large star before it was blown into a red superfluid. These types of stars tend to have much shorter lifespans than our Sun, which has been around for 4.5 billion years and is expected to continue shining happily for another 4.5 billion years. Ever since we learned that Betelgeuse is a red supergiant star at the end of its life, astronomers and space enthusiasts around the world have been waiting for this once-in-a-century event. Seeing a supernova live is a once-in-a-lifetime event, and it's doubtful we'll ever see one. There are different opinions about when Betelgeuse will explode. Excitement was already high in 2019 when the red giant star showed a significant decrease in its brightness. Not only global experts and star researchers went crazy, but also the press was full of news. Some newspapers reported signs of an imminent supernova, and suddenly all eyes turned to the constellation Orion. Then came official statements from leading Betelgeuse experts who believed that Betelgeuse would brighten rather than fade before the end. The scientists were right. Betelgeuse's dark anomalies lasted until 2020 and then entered astronomical history as the Great Dim. In February 2020, Betelgeuse's brightness reached an all-time low. After intensive research, astronomers concluded that the decrease was caused by a massive eruption of hot gas from the surface of Betelgeuse. The gas cooled, forming a dense carpet of dust particles that blocked the star's light for months, causing the observed decrease in brightness. In 2023, astronomers noticed a sudden increase in brightness, and the question arose again if this sudden change could be a sign that we will soon see a supernova. Astronomers swung it. Most experts agree that the sudden 50% increase in brightness does not mean an imminent explosion, but is a kind of aftereffect of the big decrease for 2019 to 2020. During the blackout, a large amount of dust and gas erupted outside, preventing the normal glow. Betelgeuse cycles. Detailed studies have shown that the anomaly occurred during the long-known 400-day period during which Betelgeuse brightens dramatically without being associated with an immediate explosion. The 2020 event shortened the normal 400-day cycle to about 200 days. This shortening meant that Betelgeuse's increase in brightness was not only earlier, but stronger than usual. Dying stars are both drama and happiness. I bet you didn't know that our bodies and the Earth are made of elements from dying stars. In addition to the history of our universe, scientists have also reconstructed the origins of matter and elements. This revealed that the first stars and their explosions played an important role in the evolution of matter. In the beginning, the universe was rich in light elements. Thus, the first stars were also very light supergiants with a very short lifespan. During its short existence, giant stars used nuclear fusion to convert hydrogen into helium, releasing vast amounts of energy that made the stars shine. Eventually, when the hydrogen supply ran out, they fused the helium into heavier elements like carbon and oxygen. These processes eventually led to massive supernova explosions that scattered heavy elements into space and helped form new generations of stars. As these events continued, new generations were born with stars, planets, and eventually our own bodies. The oxygen, water, and fertile soil on our planet, on which we live, formed until today. At the end of their lifetime, giant stars spread their elements into the galaxy and the entire universe. When Betelgeuse explodes, millions of tons of material, dust, and gases fly across the galaxy. Those elements then form new stars and planets in other places. So when Betelgeuse begins its final act, it will not be completely destroyed. Much of its mass is recycled. A neutron star or black hole remains where Betelgeuse once stood after it ends. Despite these legacies, Betelgeuse is no longer visible to us. Almost everyone with an interest in astronomy and space, or the constellations, knows the star as an important part of the Orion constellation, the mythological hunter and fighter with his signature sword. Orion is one of the most famous constellations in the night sky. Betelgeuse has been the leading star on Orion's shoulder and the center of legend and myth for thousands of years. When it disappears, an era disappears with it, and the constellation Orion is no longer the same. Only those who are superstitious or believe in old legends believe that it has a social impact on our planet. Even after the supernova explosion of Betelgeuse, our Earth will most likely continue to rotate normally. For our science, the continuous dramatic changes on the surface of Betelgeuse and the valuable knowledge that follows is a real pleasure. To witness the last stages of the life of a massive star like Betelgeuse is a unique opportunity. In the past century, improved techniques allowed scientists to observe supernovae in distant galaxies. But here in our own Milky Way, just 650 light-years away, this event is of much more scientific interest. So the fate of Betelgeuse is both drama and happiness. We can see it with the naked eye. One thing is certain: Betelgeuse's dramatic finale can be seen with the naked eye from Earth. It offers a unique opportunity to experience a powerful explosion up close. The explosion cannot be that far away, because Betelgeuse has already exhausted its hydrogen reserves. When the hydrogen in its core ran out, the star began fusing helium into heavier elements like carbon and oxygen. These fusion processes released enormous amounts of energy thousands of years ago, keeping the star stable and making it shine. Over time, fusion processes became increasingly inefficient. Later layers of different elements formed in Betelgeuse. Helium fused in the center to form carbon and oxygen, while hydrogen continued to fuse in the outer layers. As heavier elements fuse, less and less energy is slowly released, and the core eventually collapses. The final collapse of the Betelgeuse core is caused by gravity compressing the matter in the core to such an extent that the electrons are forced into the atomic nuclei. This leads to a sudden increase in pressure and temperature, causing the core to burst in a huge explosion, which we then see as a supernova. During the explosion, a huge amount of energy is released, which carries the outer layers of the star into space with incredible speed. These layers contain a large number of heavy elements that were formed as a result of interstellar fusion processes.
These elements are scattered in space and contribute to the formation of new stars and planets. When Betelgeuse goes supernova, the event is so bright that we can see it in daylight. For a few moments, it is like a bright flash. The rest of the explosion then shines brightly for several weeks to months. Betelgeuse becomes one of the brightest objects in the night sky. The supernova will likely shine as brightly as a full moon for weeks. Now you are probably wondering when that will happen. Well, the last burst should be visible as a sharp increase in brightness. After a few days, Betelgeuse will increase in brightness and then explode. So if you regularly look at Orion and the star is bright there, it might be time soon. According to scientists, the final could come tomorrow, or maybe not for another 100,000 years. The first supernova observed on Earth, the Kepler supernova, was a rare event, and scientists only recently learned about the phenomenon in our own galaxy. The star is supposed to explode every 50 years, but we don't see many supernovae. The last supernova seen and documented from Earth was supernova 1987A in the Large Magellanic Cloud, a small galaxy adjacent to the Milky Way. This supernova was discovered on February 24, 1987, and gave astronomers a valuable opportunity to study in detail the physical processes and consequences of a supernova explosion. Even further back in history was SN 1604, also known as the Kepler supernova of 1604. The famous astronomer observed the apparent birth of a new celestial body in the constellation of the Serpent. This supernova was so bright that it was visible in the daytime sky for several weeks. Kepler noted in his journal with astonishment that a star had been born that shone almost as brightly as the moon. The Betelgeuse supernova is not only an impressive celestial event, but also a unique event in our scientific and historical context. New insights and discoveries are made, and a new milestone in the observation and understanding of supernovae is set. This remarkable cosmic event will not only remain in our memories for generations, but will also shape the future of our night sky.